Okay, maybe this is like a little ignorant, but like, why is the James Webb photo so zoomed out, dude? Like, I get it. It's impressive. I saw the um I saw the video where the camera or the telescope itself has to unfold. It's like 6 nanometers thick or something like that. Like it's unbelievable, right? It's an incredible act of science. Could they have just like to go through all that work and then forget to add a zoom function? Just seems negligent. Like you couldn't just pick one of those galaxies and like zoom in on it a little bit and see if maybe there's an alien down there? I don't understand. Like it's impressive to know what the galaxies look like. Like that's really cool. And some of the photos have been beautiful and they've been like amazing. But you couldn't just like zoom in on like one of the planets or something like that and see if they got maybe like some buildings down there or something like, or like a Great Wall of Jupiter. I don't understand. I will admit I'm too stupid to kind of understand um, that like I don't really understand how the photo is 4.5 billion years old. Like, how did they make a camera that's also a time machine? Is because it's taking a photo of something that's 4.5 billion light years away? Okay, hear me out. Why don't we just move the camera 4.5 billion light years away from Earth and then take a photo of Earth and see what our shit was like 4.5 billion years ago? Then it would be like having a time machine. We could see like what the dinosaurs were doing back then. We'd be like, whoa, dinosaurs. What the hell are they doing? So true. But then there was another. I was reading the Twitter trending topic, which is how I learn all of my information on the Earth, especially nuanced scientific topics. But there was like, hey, this isn't actually the oldest photo that exists of the universe. That NASA actually took a photo of what the universe looked like 330,000 years after the Big Bang. And I'm like, what the hell? How the hell did they do that? Did they take the photo like a billion years ago? I don't understand. Is there like is that the thing with the James Webb telescope? Is it like it has a temporal zoom? Like instead of zooming in or zooming out, it has like a, hey, take a photo that's a million years ago. Hey, take a photo that's a billion years ago. It doesn't make any sense to me. That wasn't really a photo. It was just an array of background radiation. What the hell? The farther out you see, the older light is. That's one of those things that sounds true, but I can't really. I'll be honest with you. I think I have a terrestrial brain. I think I'm like relatively okay at understanding the Earth, and I think that if I opened my mind, I could start to understand the vastness of space. But I just choose to keep it closed because it's really scary. Like the photo of the James Webb telescope took, where it was like, hey, our inference based on this photo is that there's billions of galaxies that have trillions of stars, some of which may have star systems, which could have planets, some of which could be similar to ours. I was like, yeah, I don't want to think about that. That's just a lot of the idea that there could be, perhaps hundreds of thousands of Earth-like planets out there that maybe also are taking photos of us with their own James Webb telescope, and we're looking at them. Everybody's a voyeur as they're watching me watch them watch me right now. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking about what I'm gonna have for lunch today instead. It's like the information pokes like a little hole in my ignorance, and then I say no, patch that up. I don't want to think about that. All I know is that the galaxy is on Orion's belt. What are you having for lunch then? Can I tell you, to be honest, I installed Uber on my phone again because I used it to go to and from the hospital a few times, and then Uber said, hey, here's a free $20 lunch on us. And I've just been preoccupying myself by trying to think of what I'm going to do with that $20 lunch credit. I wonder how long the I almost died story is milkable. Well, I'll tell you, it's longer than 1 week, motherfucker. You ever hear anybody else tell a story? They'll tell a story about how they got like a free McChicken from McDonald's for like 10 years. How much is the healthcare? Well, like, so my appointments were free at the hospital and the ER visit and stuff like that, and I'm grateful for that. But it is kind of fucked. I had to pay for my prescription 14 doses of a powerful antibiotic that saved my life, $18.75. Shit's actually unacceptable. 7K for my ER visit? That's pretty fucked up. It is pretty insane. I paid $800 this past month just to confirm Cyrene didn't have cancer. Yeah, I mean, it's like the system is... look, I complained a lot about the Canadian system. I think you can hold these two things in your head simultaneously. You could be like, there's room for improvement in the Canadian system, but also be thankful that I don't live in America. Like, because I've seen like the itemized receipt that you get when you get discharged from American hospitals, and it's like every bag of saline they give you is like $500. That doesn't seem sensible. And then you talk, because our in-laws are not necessarily huge fans of the system to begin with, so I'm not saying they're complicit, but our in-laws are doctors. And I'm like, why the hell is it like, you know, $7,500 a day to be admitted to the hospital and have a bed? And they're like, well, they charge it at that level because, like, if you have good insurance, insurance will actually pay, or they'll dispute it down. So you have to, like, charge double in order to actually get what you think it's worth in the first place. And you're like, okay, well, this seems pretty fucked up if you don't have insurance. That, like, you know, basically, and then there's like life hacks that are like, if you get billed by the hospital, don't pay, just send it to collections, and then like call the hospital collections department and be like, how are we going to work this out? Because I'm not going to pay this ridiculous bill that you sent me. So like, it just seems like, you know, you're already stressed to begin with, and then on top of that, to begin like a car negotiation to pay for life-saving care seems a little... I mean, it seems like you're getting piled on a little bit. The thing with the Canadian system is that... I don't know, is anybody out there like... I feel like everybody loves the healthcare, like in Canada specifically, everybody loves the healthcare when they're not interfacing with it, and also right after they've interfaced with it. Like right now, I'm like, I love my doctor, I love my country. When I was actually trying to get care, I was like, this fucking sucks. But the thing you can say about the Canadian system is, at the very least, at least it's fair. Like, if it sucks for everybody. So sometimes they talk about having like, and I don't know, maybe sucking for everybody is bad, but at least it's not like, well, it sucks for the average person, but if you're like insanely wealthy, it's amazing. At least you don't get like a leg up just based on your net worth. Although you could, I guess, just go to the US and get treated. But I mean, how are you going to stop that regardless? Except when they hoard the antibiotics. Look, I wish that they were a little... I don't want them... Here's... Okay, this is going to be -2 me in advance, okay? They should not give everybody antibiotics when they come into the hospital or the doctor or the urgent care and say, I have strep throat, can I please get antibiotics? But they should... I think after what I've been through, they should give me like a stamp on my BC Care card, which is like our health card, that says like, if this motherfucker comes in and asks for antibiotics, maybe just give him like 2 pills, follow up tomorrow to see how he feels, and then give him the rest of the dose or not the rest of the dose. Because I'm getting pretty fucking pissed off that just random chickens in Abbotsford are getting ciprofloxacin doses like every single day just to ensure that the Tyson poultry farms profits stay high. But when a human being wants to get some antibiotics, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, we're really worried about creating antibiotic resistant bacteria. No, we can't give you the antibiotics. Then maybe they wouldn't work for the chickens anymore that you're going to eat anyway. I'm not pro-disease. I'm just like, you know what the, okay, look, this is the easiest take of all time because nobody's going to dispute it. But like, if I was alive in the 90s, my perception is that you could go to the doctor and just be like, I have a sore throat. And they'd be like, here's some fucking amoxicillin. Here's some penicillin. Here's some ciprofloxacin, you know? Like back in the day, they were just, they had like the t-shirt cannon from sporting events. And they were just shooting antibiotics out there. And then they fucked it for everybody. They had like 30 years where they were just sending they were like, these are miracle drugs. And then, now, because everybody was freebasing amoxicillin in 1991, we can't get antibiotics anymore. It's like more restricted. They would happily give you like horse pills of Purdue Pharmaceuticals OxyContin. But if you want an antibiotic because you have an infection, they're like, oh, we're worried about super bacteria. Anyway, I agree that we should go back to like the Wild West when you had a sore throat. Some apothecary went into the back room and used funnels to cook you up like some kind of custom tonic with a bunch of controlled substances in it and was like, here, take one of these and fuck off. Anyway, don't do that. People are like, wait till you get C. diff, then you'll be sorry. It's the same people that were in my Twitter mentions. Hey, Egg, thinking of you. I had food poisoning for 3 days, so I know what it's like. I'm like, fuck you. You have no idea what it was like. Did you go to the hospital? No, you just sat on your couch for 2 days, and then you went fucking back to work. I went to the hospital 3 times, dude. You do not know what it was. Some people know what it's like. You don't know what it's like. Then people were like, wait till you get C. diff, then you'll be sorry. Sorry about what? That I took life-saving antibiotics to not die, and then I got C. diff? I guess I'll just die so I don't get C. diff. And the fucked up thing is, based on the care that I received at the ER, you're probably a fucking doctor, okay? So I'm sorry that it hurts to hear criticism instead of just thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. I'm just giving you a patient user story. You can choose whether or not to take that information and adjust your behavior, or you can just be like, well, I went to school for 27 years, so I don't have to listen to anybody but myself. It's up to you. You get C. diff. When you get C. diff, you'll be sorry you didn't let yourself get killed by salmonella and campylobacter. Motherfuckers are like gatekeeping bacterial infections. This is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Are you listening to yourself? I almost died. I need a doctor's note. Do you think the doctor would be mad if I called and said, can you give me a note that says I almost died? So I can like, I would open that shit in a heartbeat. I still haven't opened my 1,000,000 sub play button. I would open that shit the second I receive. I would cancel the stream to open it.
She cried again.
Oh, that's okay.
And then the daycare lady was like, is she sick? Because like she cried yesterday too. And then after I left, she would be like not crying, and then she would cry, and then she would not cry, and then she would cry, and there's like nothing happening.
Yeah, it's okay. She'll be fine. She's got to go through it in order to break the separation anxiety to begin with.
And she's like, mommy, and then she gets distracted, and she remembers mommy, and then she goes like, wah.
Oh, it's sad for sure.
Oh my god.
But then honestly, like, so my wife drops our daughter off at daycare. She cries every single time. When I pick her up, she's having the time of her life. Every time I pick her up, she doesn't notice I'm there for like 30 seconds, and she's just with the other kids, and they're like, "Bee!" And then they all like toddle over to this bush, and they're like, they do the baby squat where like their feet are flat on the ground, and they bend so deep that like their butt is touching the grass, and they're all there together going like, "Bee! Hello, Bee! Bee! Hi, Bee!" It's crazy. Like, honestly, I think I got the easy job picking her up. She is going sumo ass to grass. Like, it's crazy. Don't make fun of my finger. Anyway, I mean, here's the thing. I think this is one of those things. Okay, you jealous? Oh, here we go. Am I the asshole for refusing to wear quote-unquote protection at a family gathering? Let me guess. Let me guess what protection is in this context. I'm going to guess that it's a 0.2 millimeter thick cloth mask is my expectation. Maybe I could be wrong. My 18F family gets together every summer in my grandparents' cottage. It's really big house and can accommodate all slash most of the family. This summer has been the first time doing the get together since COVID. Oh, but I thought you got together every summer. We're on sentence number 3 and the whole thing's fallen apart already. Your Honor, motion to dismiss. Some of the older kids were refusing to put on their nighttime underwear because they were embarrassed to do it with their cousins there. Not all of them wet the bed. So my grandmother decided to avoid any embarrassment for the children, they would all wear protection for a few days. So protection in this case is a diaper, like a nighttime diaper. And they would be able to stop wearing it if they did not wet the bed. This is like a battle royale. Last man standing. If you don't piss your pants, you don't have to wear the diaper anymore. I'm going to stop you right there. Asking a 15-year-old to wear a nighttime diaper to show solidarity with children who are 1 to 8 is insane. This is legit a fetish scenario post. I don't know if something's wrong with you or if something's wrong with the internet. Maybe I want to believe that it's not, okay? It's both. Because I do think there's a lot of like false positives. People will be like, I got the head of my dick hit with a sledgehammer. Should I go to the hospital? People are like, this is fake. It's a fetish post. Lots of people out there love having the tip of their dick smashed with a sledgehammer. And I'm like, I don't think so. But I don't know. This might not be a false positive. I'm going to continue reading it and we'll hit the eject button if it turns into something even more disgusting. But anyway, like this is just to where we're at in the post. Yeah, it's not good to force a teenager to wear a diaper to go to bed. The thing with, okay, so 1 to 8-year-old kids are like, oh, I don't want to wear the diaper unless our cousin wears it. Okay, sorry, you're 6, so you're gonna wear the diaper. I don't know what you want. Welcome to real life. Like, when you're 1 to 8 years old, you're not calling the shots. If you were calling the shots, the world would be even more fucked up than it already is. Sometimes you got to do what you're told. Yeah, be mad. Okay, cry it out. Who cares? She argued that if she, who had not wet the bed in 10 years? She who has not wet the bed in over 10 years had to wear the underwear, then so should I, because I only stopped bedwetting a couple of... Oh, I'm out of here, man. This just doesn't sound right. I'm not even suggesting it's a fetish post. It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't sound right. Something's not right. I'm glad that one weekend a year, these people are all hanging out together and they're not in Gen Pop with the rest of us. I would love for you to tell me what weekend that is so I feel more comfortable going outside. I don't want to read anything else you ever write for the rest of your entire life. Am I the asshole for pretending a movie trilogy is a TV series to my girlfriend who hates movies? I don't even really understand this, but it sounds so innocuous as to be hilarious. Some am I the assholes are like, I shot my girlfriend in the leg. Am I the asshole? And some of them are like, I forgot to use my signal light once. Am I the asshole? Both could make you the asshole, but I have a penchant for both of them, quite frankly. So since I'm a big fan of Back to the Future, I told her it's a TV series. I've got the trilogy digitally and spent all night trimming it down to like 40-minute snippets with as reasonable points to cut at, like just after the first travel back. Holy cow, that's so funny. You think he edited like the Netflix sting into the front of it? Like the dum. That's actually amazing. I overlaid to be continued and added credits at the end. She's used to Netflix skipping the intro to shows, so I didn't have to bother with that. The credits were cut short as well. We binged the entire thing in a day. Well, it's 2 hours long. We talked over lunch break. Over lunch break? What the hell? Over lunch break? How old are you? Or are you co-workers? Maybe they're co-workers? We talked over lunch break and everything's fine. I apologized to her again for tricking her and said I didn't mean to upset her. I just wanted to share this movie I love with her. As some comments said, she felt belittled and like I made fun of her. She apologized for overreacting as she realized it came from a place of care and good intentions, even if they were selfish. She wants more communication in the future, though. She didn't lose trust in me, and she doesn't think I'm having malicious intent with her either. We're gonna watch Looper tonight! Bad chest! Bad chest! Looper! Mom says we can watch Looper tonight. I have to, it's so funny how overblown the conversation to reconcile was versus the actual offense in the first place. She wants more communication in the future, though. Bro, you edited Back to the Future into a TV show. You put a little splice in every 40 minutes and then told her it was a TV show. It's not like, you don't have to blow up the whole relationship for that. This is just funny. This is just a funny post. Assuming it's real, he spliced Looper into YouTube Shorts. Yeah, dude, if he wants, what he should actually do, oh, my girlfriend, she doesn't like TV shows or movies because she only watches TikTok. Well, I really like The Irishman. So I edited it down to 543 30-second chunks and edit it into portrait style like it was taken from a cell phone. And then I showed them all to her in a playlist called Amazing TikTok Saga About Old Mobsters. Hashtag LOL. Anyway, maybe we lost our way on the bit there a little bit. That's very funny, though. I like that. Am I the asshole for getting upset at my sister after she upstaged my bad news with good news? Is this like how I keep saying I almost died, and then people are like, hey, I had my job interview called me back. I got the job. Thanks, NL. And I'm like, I almost died. How dare you have good news when I almost died? Am I the asshole for getting upset at my sister after she upstaged my bad news with her good news? So to start off, I'm F21. My sister, Sabrina, I noticed you did not hesitate to drop your sister's name immediately and maintain your own anonymity. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you might have made it up to begin with, but you didn't even give yourself a pseudonym. We're not particularly close, but we always got along. I was always closer to my brothers. Rare semicolon spotted in the wild. You are the asshole. She was closer to our parents. However, Sabrina lives very close to my college, so we've hung out a bit more in the past few months. Sabrina has a 10-year-old son, Isaac, from a previous relationship. He left after she told him she was pregnant. Okay? Isaac is autistic and nonverbal, but a sweet kid. A few days ago, it was his 10th birthday, and my sister basically invited our whole family to come, myself included. She is extremely proud of Isaac and describes to us his every move. Everything is another first. A few weeks before the party, Isaac said his first word. Obviously, my sister documented and told everyone. We were all very excited. He has said a couple more leading up to the party, even saying my name when I was out to dinner with him and his mother. I was thrilled. Okay, and then this is the turn. I was thrilled, but a few weeks ago as well, I found that I was pregnant with my oh my God. No, I can't, it's fake. Fake post. Get me out of here, man. What happened to Am I the Asshole? It used to be like, am I the asshole for eating all the fully loaded nachos? Now every single one is like, me. I got hit with a syphilitic cannonball back in the 1700s and my chest cavities caved in on itself. My girlfriend has been possessed by the ghost of an angry demon. And we're trying to decide what restaurant to go to. Like, it's just, what happened to the, now every single one is like, hey, just so you know, my sister has a lot of problems, and I told her to shut up. By the way, I also have a lot of problems. What happened to just, we need to go back to the shredded cheese post. You know what it is, man? I'm not going to any more posts where the username is like adjective underscore verb underscore 4-digit number. You fucking liars. You creative writing Andes. I'm not going to any more default usernames. Look, how about this one? Throwaway rioting. That's a real human being that made this post, okay? I can at least get, I don't know if this is going to be real, but I can at least look at it. Am I the asshole for confronting my brother for pointing out my boyfriend isn't actually my husband? Okay, let's see. Let's see. It is I expect people to make throwaways, okay? I'm just saying not default Reddit username throwaways. So I've been with my boyfriend for over 13 years, but boyfriend sounds really high school after everything we've been through, so I call him my husband and ask that my family does too. As a married person, I give you my permission to do that because who cares? Who gives a shit at all? I'm honestly just not that interested in your life. If you want to call your boyfriend of 13 years your husband, I honestly don't care. Oh, you didn't go through a day where you stand in front of a bunch of people and fucking repeat after some guy at the front. Nobody cares. Okay? I mean, some people probably care. Also, and this is an aside, but like, I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but in Canada, common law is fucking crazy. Like, if you live with someone for like 2 years, you're legally married. I think I was legally married to like 6 people simultaneously in college, just because I had roommates that I, moved around with. Like, I think technically, oh, you have to file for it? I don't think so, because I thought I mean, this is like in 2004 or something like that, when I learned about it in like high school. But like, if we were basically told, like, if you live with somebody for 2 years, they can basically hit you with like a divorce settlement. They could, I mean, I'm not saying that like if you lived with your friend as a roommate, your roommate could like fake divorce you. But I think if you lived with like a partner, a romantic partner, and then you broke up, I think that your partner could go to a lawyer and be like, we were common law married, because you get common law married by default in Canada. Like, it just happens after 2 years or 3 years, and you're entitled to some kind of like benefits as a result. At least in Ontario, it's 1 year in Ontario. That's crazy. Oh, 3 years. 1 if you have a kid together. No, I didn't sleep with my roommates. They're all engineers. Yuck. Anyway. All right, so yesterday we had an early I mean, like, I feel like, sorry for getting stun locked over and over by myself, but like, the only reason I feel like you would get married after 13 years of being in a relationship together is so that you didn't have to have the conversation every time you met new people. You would just be like, oh, we should just fucking like spend 35 grand on a wedding just so we never have to be like, well, we just don't believe in the institution so much, Like, at that point, you would just do it to never have to have the talk again. But anyway, when we were doing the gifts, one of my brothers casually handed my husband a gift, and everyone stopped their own convos, started paying attention to them. My husband looked confused because we don't have any kids. My brother says in front of everyone, dude, come on. My brother says in front of everyone, I know y'all miscarried, so maybe you're not celebrating it, but I know how excited you were, and I think you would have been awesome at it. You might be an illegitimate brother-in-law, but you would have made a great dad. This never happened. There is nobody on earth that would do this, that would give you a gift for Father's Day after you went through this traumatic experience, and then while giving you the gift was also like, oh, by the way, you're not really married to my sister. This is idiotic, man. What happened to this subreddit? These are the filtered posts. This is an embarrassment. Am I the asshole for not saving my girlfriend's son when he was pinned under a bench press? What the hell? Season 2 Breaking Bad, all you had to do was lift the damn bar, man. Jesse! I don't care if this one's fake. At least there's probably not like a traumatic experience in this. The friction has only gotten worse as she moved in with me 2 months ago because they could no longer afford to live alone. I have a basement gym I have poured over $7,000 into, and this is where I'm adding some creative license, after my divorce with my first wife. I then put a lock on the door, very mature, which George broke down with a hammer. I then reinforced the door and put a new lock on, which George could not penetrate. What the hell is going on, man? You reinforce the door? A couple of days ago, I got home from work and decided to hit the gym. Noticing the door open, I walked down the stairs only to find George in the middle of a bench press set. As I watched from the stairs, he went for one rep too many and got pinned. He was in no danger at any point because the barbell was low on his sternum, plus it was only like 80 pounds. After 30 seconds of panic mode, he finally got the bright idea to dump the weight, to which I gave him a slow clap. 30, you let this kid flounder for 30 seconds thinking he was gonna like crush his rib cage? I know it's only 80 pounds, but like, if this post has to be fake, because otherwise this guy should be minority reported. He should be in prison. I don't know if it's a crime to let your teenage stepson think that he's gonna die from a bench press gone wrong, but like, this guy seems like, I mean, I'm just gonna say it. It seems like he drives a Dodge Ram, doesn't use his signal light, and then tries to antagonize people on the road so that he can get into a road rage incident and have an opportunity to kill you. He seems like an insane person. I started to tell him that's what happens when you work out alone. Okay, we're almost on like this. We're parallel lines destined to never meet. Why don't you just work out together, man? It's crazy. She says I should have handled the situation better, but I say I kind of did when I installed a heavy-duty door and put a new lock on it. I'm going to be changing the lock tomorrow. Least insane divorced stepdad Redditor? If this post is fake, and there's a chance that it is because it's on Am I the Asshole, I commend the creative writing because it's not so heavy-handed as to be like immediately dismissible as fake, because I think we all know somebody in our lives that are, you know, like their masculinity is so fragile that they're like, no, I would never let my stepson work out in my gym. I paid for it. Why should he be able to work out? Why should a child that's part of my family be able to share some of my property when I'm the one who had to scan my Amex to get it? Like, there's people like that. It's so obvious that, like, if this is real, all you have to do is start working out with your stepson, and then you, like, it's like a movie. You build like an awesome bond with one another. Your kid becomes young Hercules. He gets his own TLC, you know, special. He gets 1 million followers on Instagram. You know, it's like a path to success. But instead, what do? It's like Rainbow Six Siege. You're putting up like a damn castle wall. He's using a sledgehammer to break it down, and then you got like a frost bear trap just underneath it. The cat. I mean, and also like it's unconscionable to watch your stepson, even if he's not in physical risk, like of injury, to watch your stepson like think that he's like just be scared and panicked for 30 seconds and not help. Like, you should help a stranger in that situation, obviously. Not helping your own stepson is truly madness. I don't want to diagnose you, but because I'm not a psychiatrist, I can't be disbarred for doing so. Seems a little like you might be like a sociopath or something. I don't know. You seem to only consider how things affect you, which is particularly insane because you're 36 years old and this is literally just a child. Anyway, I want to take a look at some of the comments to feel like potentially validated on this. Not the asshole. Sorry, I got stun locked for a second when I saw the guy, because I'm like, they mean that you're the asshole, right? Like, I just can't believe that the second post that was awarded Reddit comment for this, I actually did not. It didn't hit the part of my brain that allowed me to interpret it. Not the asshole. I think you're the one viewing things through rose-tinted glasses. It's not just a matter of enabling him. Your girlfriend is using you. She's refusing to give you the spare key to your gym for the sole purpose of using it to violate your wish to not have that kid in there. Sorry, I said your kid. That's my mistake. That kid. This is beyond disrespectful. And now you have to change the lock again. You have no choice but to change the lock. one more time, because she will not relinquish the key. Even better, she's punishing you with the silent treatment. Question. What happens when she demands the new key for the new lock you'll get? Will she keep giving you the silent treatment until you yield? This relationship isn't healthy. Edit. Thanks for the awards and stuff, kind strangers. Holy cow. This is like, and somebody said this in the Discord yesterday, and it's completely true, or at least matches my preconceived notions of am I the asshole? There is a group of people out there, I don't even know, they might even be 51% plus of the population, that basically thinks you have complete control over everything in your own house at all times, and not only do you have control, but you should exercise that control at all times. I can't imagine putting yourself in a position where you forbid your 14-year-old stepson from using your home gym. It just, why would you, like, if at any point he said something like, I'm worried he's going to get injured, then I would be like, okay, that makes sense. Maybe, like, I'm not saying the kid is not going to, like, go around him, but, like, maybe, like, hey, only work out when you're, like, with me, like supervised, you know, we're going to teach you safety rules and stuff. Like, if he ever said, like, it's dangerous, that's fine, but he didn't. Instead, he mentioned the price tag for how much the gym cost him, which I think you can read between the lines and figure out why he doesn't want someone else to use it. You know, he spent $7,000 not only to have his own home gym, but also because it allows him to exclude other people from it, even though this seems like a no-brainer opportunity to, like, bond with your child and or your stepson. Anyway, I came just the idea. Look, the idea that, like, well, if your girlfriend was unable to pay for her own living expenses, and now she has the audacity to defy your orders in your own house. This is not, and then when she's mad at you for potentially letting her son think that he's in mortal danger, she has the audacity to give you the silent treatment in your own house? Like, what? It's a scary thought, man, that this has 8,000 upvotes. Just my personal take. The narwhal do be baconing at midnight, though, for sure. I came here to say this. Her absolute lack of respect for you and your property shows how little she thinks of your relationship. What are you talking about? I'm just like, nobody's concerned about the child hurting himself. He was literally trapped under the bar. Everybody's concerned about the damage that he might do to the $7,000 home gym that consists exclusively of, like, iron circles. It's crazy, man. There's nothing here to salvage. I think you need to kick her out and find a new person to date, because there's no repairing the lack of disregard for you. Holy cow. This is madness. Here we go. Also, why do people not talk and find compromises? Like, okay, kid, you really want to use the gym? You can do it 2 times a week or however often with me. No sneaking, no safety issues. It could even be bonding issues with the kid. But no, one side entirely locks down a room instead of finding a way to find safe use. And the other side violently disrespects that. Just fully dysfunctional, the whole thing. Okay, a normal person that exists in the real world. 384 upvotes. How dare your girlfriend give you the silent treatment? 7.8 thousand upvotes, and they gave it someone spent real American dollars to give it a shooting star that shows up when you scroll past it. Like, I don't know why so many relationships in Am I the Asshole end up being like nobody's gonna ever, like, if you relinquish control over even the smallest issue of all time, you lose. Like, at one point, don't you just realize, like, this shit isn't fucking worth it? And be like, okay, sorry, let's move on. Like, let's get back to our lives, that, like, the important parts, instead of getting sidetracked by, like, a stupid, like, prideful argument for, like, a month. And then the most normal Redditors of all time. Hey, why wouldn't you just bond with him? Hey, why? He's a 14-year-old boy who wants to work out. You clearly like working out. Why wouldn't you just bond with him? Jenny's the worst. The worst. Jenny's are always the worst. So true. Most sane Redditor in the comments spotted. What the hell are you even talking about? She is enabling his bad behavior and showing zero respect for you. Whatever you do, don't marry this woman unless you want to deal with George for the rest of your life. Your girlfriend doesn't respect you. She has zero respect for you and enables his bad behavior. What's his bad behavior again? Physically exercising. No, NL, that's not right. That's not right. The disrespect is that she didn't do exactly what you said, which, as we all know, is the basis for a healthy relationship. All healthy relationships are essentially just sequences of demand, comply, demand, comply. Do this, I did it. Do this, I did it. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody ever exercises their own autonomy at all, especially not teenagers. But but NL, have you considered it's his house? Have you considered it's his house, his rules? 1.4 thousand likes. Take her key away and kick them out. Jesus, no amount of sex is worth this hassle. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It has 1.4 thousand likes. Are you actually like 15 years old? What a hassle. You know what? Very good point. What hassle? I had to make fun of my 14-year-old stepson after he almost died doing an irresponsible bench press because I refused to teach him gym safety. It's such a hassle, man. After like a long day of work to have to spend time with my family, no amount of sex is worth the hassle. A friend of mine used to say, they must be a tornado between the sheets when we heard this sort of story. Let me guess. Your friend eventually grew up and was not 21 years old anymore, but you somehow have just stayed locked into this mindset for the rest of your life. What the hell are you talking about? Over and under a minute and only leaving destruction behind? Is this the immortal bard, William Shakespeare? To quote a very old joke, it starts with a lot of sucking and blowing and ends with you losing your house. Oh, dude! Truer things have never been said. Holy cow. Dude, women are getting lit up in the comments section. Holy cow. Jeez, Jenny, dude, do not let Jenny see this. She would be like, ah! She'd be like, ah! Oh, man. Holy cow. Okay, I would say this is reasonably fair. I'm sorry, I put a lock on the door which George broke down with a hammer in a home they only live in because they couldn't afford to live alone with a hammer. Okay, that is pretty funny. I just don't get it, man. Every post is like not the asshole. Everybody else appears to be like, well, what I say is the law. How's that working out for you? You got 5,000 upvotes on Reddit, so maybe you're not complaining, but now the little shit deserved it. I mean, okay, he did break the lock with a hammer. That's a little shitty, but like, it's so crazy to me that you could see your stepson wriggling under a bench press. And he's literally 14 years old. Like he's in the 9th grade. And you watch it with like Schadenfreude. You're like, ah. Don't worry though, he instantly analyzed the amount of weight on the bar, and also he knows like the strength of a 9th grader's sternum. He's like, I have at least 52 seconds before this becomes a serious deal. He did an ocular pat down. Not the asshole. Are you sure you want the liability of these two in your home? Honestly, not much right now. Jenny has been good to me generally. But she's a terrible mother for George. Plus, as you say, a gigantic financial risk for me. Holy cow. This is the funniest thing I've ever read. You just called your girlfriend a terrible mother and a gigantic financial risk. He's saying, like, if the stepson dies in the gym, then he's going to get sued. But, like, that's why you should show him how to work out safely, man. You're the one who let him wriggle under the bar, you dickhead! What are you talking about? If he got hurt, Jenny could take me to the cleaners. By the way, am I the asshole for letting him think that he was gonna have his thoracic cavity fucking cave in for 30 seconds just to teach him a lesson? He's so like self-pitying. Am I the asshole for throwing my McDonald's bag back inside the drive-thru window? Post has been deleted. Am I the asshole for throwing my wife's phone out the window because she wouldn't stop texting her friend when we're at the cottage? Oh, man. This shit always gets me, man. Oh, come on. And then I'm not even going to put it up on the screen because it's like, at first you're like, you should never throw your wife's phone. And then here we go. She couldn't stop messaging her writing friend. All they talk about are characters and role playing them with each other. My wife is looking for a serious career in writing, but this is literally just for fun. She's never going to publish this dark academia borderline fan fiction. Okay, fucking stop making stuff up, asshole. Get like a real hobby. Am I the asshole for expecting... This one seems real, even though it has a throwaway account name with 4 numbers at the end of it. Am I the asshole for expecting my boyfriend to help fix the house we live in? I don't think it's real. I'm looking at it and I'm saying I don't think it's real. I don't know if this is the end of React Court or what, but so many of these posts are just... They're just bait, man. Yeah, I'm protecting you from the bait by not putting it up on the screen because I don't want you to waste your good judgment juice on fake posts. And so many of these are fake posts. This seems... The more mundane, the happier I am because I think it's more likely to be realistic. Like so many of the fake posts are like, me, 75, male, and my girlfriend, 19F, female, who is blind, were... in an ambulance on the way to the moon, whereas this one is, this seems pedestrian, and I'm more likely to believe it as a result. Maybe I have a bias towards that. Am I the asshole for leaving the house while my girlfriend is still sleeping? I think she's being a baby. My solution would be get in your car, drive over. It's not that difficult. I apologize for not waking her up, but I genuinely just wanted her to sleep. She finally basically cancels all our daily plans and says, have a nice day. Whew. I'm sitting in the coffee shop alone now. It's been 2 hours. She isn't coming. So am I the asshole for leaving while she's sleeping? No, she's the asshole. Even though I kind of... Sorry, I need to scroll down a little bit. Sorry. She's the asshole for sure. I don't think this is everybody sucks at all. At some point... I guess I can't say in every relationship. But have I had situations where my wife said, hey, I want to get up early tomorrow. Wake me up when you get up at 6:30. And then she comes to bed at like 12. And I'm like, well, this is a damn poison pill, man. You want me to be the first thing you see when you open your eyes after not getting a good night's sleep? It seems like I'm kind of accepting a suicide pass on that one. The alternative is that, and Kate would say the same thing. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens now and then. You know, you get up and you're faced with a decision. Am I going to wake up my wife because she told me to wake her up and risk that she's going to be annoyed with me because she's not going to feel like she had a good night's sleep? Or am I going to let her sleep a little bit? Not because I'm protecting her feelings, but because I know that how important a good night's sleep is to her. Everybody's going to find themselves in that position from time to time. And can I be honest with you? I've done both. There's been times where I was like, she needs to do something in the AM. And then you just take the bullet. You wake her up at 6:30 and say, you told me to do this. And then there's some times where she's like, I would like to get up earlier tomorrow. Can you wake me up? And then I leave, like I get up from my side of the bed and she looks like she's deep in REM sleep. And I'm like, I'm not going to wake her up. Are you insane? You gotta be out of your mind if you think I'm going to, like if someone looks like they're dead while they're sleeping, I'm not, if they're like rolling around and like, then you can shake them a little bit. But if they look like they're dead, I'm not going to wake you up unless it's urgent. And I don't even think we need to look at the comments. You're not the asshole. Obviously, your girlfriend is a little insane. It is funny that you had so much work to do in the damn coffee shop, and yet you're spending all this time typing up the damn Reddit posts. No wonder you got to get to the coffee shop. You got 2 hours of work. You're stretching it out to 6 hours. I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't have woken her up. I guess all I'm saying is, like, she should understand that she didn't get woken up because he wanted her to sleep more. Okay, let me guess. Am I the asshole for being upset that my sister made me a birthday cake? My sister has a Purple Heart. She was shot in the Peace Corps trying to deliver medicine in Mali in 2009. Just give me a second here. Let me find it. Let me find the part where, like, you go in on somebody for being an asshole, and then there's actually, like, a condition that means they have to be an asshole, and you can't judge them. I'm not reading this. This is teenage drama. This post boils down to, my sister made me a birthday cake, but the cursive writing on the cake looked really bad. Okay. God, I miss being 17. This shit would ruin your night. The cursive on my cake? Like the lady on Kitchen Nightmares on that one episode where they ran out of buns, so they have to serve her a burger on sourdough bread. And she's like, I've never been at a restaurant where they ran out of buns before. Like, it's just really hard. Am I the asshole for not making my son's friend breakfast? It's so... Oh, okay, so this is it. Here you go. I was going to be like, you just chose not to. Then at the end of it, I'm a single mom and groceries are expensive. Okay, fine. You got me. No, you're not an asshole. Fair enough. Also, Sweden detected. This post is brought to you by Sweden. Am I the asshole for not telling my boyfriend how... It's only because I respect the EU's right to be forgotten laws for internet privacy that I don't go into the internet archive and go to this. Am I the asshole for the strict schedule I have my kids on? Post has been deleted. Oh, that shit would have been so good. I could have chewed on that bone for like 20 minutes, man. You deleted it. Come on. Okay. Am I the asshole for not telling my boyfriend how much money I make? That's how we know it was real. That's true. We need to go to r/am I the asshole deleted, because no throwaway would ever delete something. They'd be like, look at how mad people are. I'm an amazing creative writer. It's only when people start to get blowback on a real story that they're like, I gotta get this shit out of here immediately. Hold on, I'm just looking. Just browsing YouTube. I don't use YouTube very much. So like the related videos I get are always very funny to me. Like, here's what I got right now. Not Donkey Kong Country, cool and calming music plus rainstorm. I don't even really understand how to parse the title. Who Framed Roger Rabbit review from Red Letter Media. How to add an outlet to a finished wall. No Hands Magician fools Penn and Teller with sleight of hand. Can you beat the hardest Minecraft escape room? Most popular... Oh, I gotta admit, the algorithms kind of got me, man. Most popular song each month in the 1970s. Why Super Mario 64 is terrifying. Drew Carey kills it in his first appearance on The Tonight Show. I gotta watch some videos, man, because some of these are not, like, for me. I'm not watching Drew Carey's first appearance on Johnny Carson. Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. RoboCop Arcade Japanese version 1cc. Oh no, David Letterman clips. What the? Dude, they're spying on me. They're spying on my damn Discord calls. Mr. Bean live performance at the London 2012 Olympics. 104 million views 9 years ago. I never searched Mr. Bean on my computer at all because I'm not a 75-year-old person who lives in Swindon. They definitely transcribed that shit from my open mic Discord call, man. Best ever Jack Nicholson impression by Jim Brewer. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not going to watch that. There's a 0% chance. Plock SNES Music Boss. Yeah, I might watch that. Jamiroquai Virtual Insanity. Is this 1997? Am I in 1997? Dire Doc's Super Mario 64 music extended. Oh, man. It gets muted, but I'm so tempted to click on it. Oh. Oh, dude. Oh, no, wait. Dire Docs is... Just a couple seconds. We can get away with a couple seconds, man, for sure. Oh, dude, it hits so good. Oh, and that's, we didn't even get to the end of the first phrase on the first one there. Oh, man. Sounds like the song they play when Cloud Strife has Mako poisoning. I remember feeling so brave with Mario diving to the depths of the lake as a 7-year-old kid. Now I'm a free diver. I went to 70 meters deep with the air of my lungs alone. Crazy how life changes your perspective. When I'm in the depths, sometimes I get this tune in my head, and it gives me peace and allows me to enjoy the moment. So long, my love. Hello, Josh. Hello. This level sucks so much in Mario 64, but I would say the music made me feel like I was in a dream. What, the Midland level sucked? What are you talking about? That's a great level. Mostly because of the music. The level's pretty bad. I don't... Dude, it's got the easiest star in the 16-star speedrun. They're all good levels. Sap's so good this week. We played a bunch of Sap yesterday. There's a bunch coming to YouTube. Go ahead and say it. But I wasn't here yesterday. Go ahead, say it. Oh, yesterday, my favorite streamer was participating in a League of Legends Twitch Rivals. I couldn't miss that. Well, you know what? You missed the genesis of the weekly. I bet you never thought that a tiny house costs less than a regular house. Bet not. Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. I think of that, you know what? I think about that song every single time I have a chore to do on a day. Like, if I know I have to clean the bathrooms on Sunday, when I wake up on Sunday, I'm like, yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. It's probably not what they wrote the song about, but I like to think that Paul McCartney was, like, procrastinating, like, filing his tax returns or something like that. I think he was like, I have until April the 15th. I have until half May, Ringo. Today's only the 14th. And then the next day, he was like, oh, crap. I don't want to go too off on England. I know you guys, you've been going through your own stuff right now. I don't respect 8:30. Like, or, you know, it's 4:30 right now. It doesn't make sense, in my opinion. And feel free to tell me, I'm sure there's lots of nonsensical stuff that doesn't make sense, you know, in, like, quote-unquote American English as well. 8:30 doesn't make sense to me because half of 8 is 4. But somehow, half 8, is it 7:30 or is it 8:30? Half past, no, or quarter to, no problem with that. So 8:30 is 8:30. That doesn't make any sense. 8:30 is 4. I know that you think I'm being, like, ridiculous. Maybe you think I'm being pedantic. I understand it's just something you learn culturally. I'm just saying, as somebody that, you know, didn't grow up under the delusion of British math, it doesn't make sense. 8:30 is 7:30 in the Netherlands? Really? So you're telling me, as you know, you cross the North Sea diagonally, and all of a sudden, 8:30 means something different? 8:30 is also 7:30 in Hungary. This is crazy. I thought 8:30 was 7:30 in the UK as well. Apparently not. Apparently 8:30 is 8:30. Doesn't make any dang sense. All the towns are named like, you know, letters are free. Then all of a sudden they're like, no, I couldn't possibly put one more word in there. I'm on my way to Clarendon, London, Derbyshire. What time am I supposed to be there? 8:30. It just seems a little like you know, methinks the country doth protest too much. 8:30 is 7:30 in Germany too. England, explain yourself, please. Ever since Brexit, we don't have to explain ourselves. Okay, you know what? It's the kind of thinking that got us into this mess. We invented the language and are therefore correct. I'll be honest with you, it's hard to argue with, but, like, I just wish that we had better stewards of the English language, you know? Just because Bobby Fischer invented chess, that doesn't mean, like, I have to agree with everything he says about everything. Like, the guy's got some pretty messed up opinions. Same in Sweden. So it's literally just, like, it's one of those, like, it's like a metric versus imperial thing. Like, everybody in, oh, right, there's those golden chests back there. Everybody in Europe agrees that half 8 is 7:30, except in England, they're like, wrong. In French, we don't say anything like that. France has an insanely good counting system. Or French, I should say, not France specifically. I remember almost nothing from 10 years of public school education about how to speak French, but I can still count to 100 without a doubt. I'm not gonna do it for you because it's like the most boring content of all time, but that information is locked in my brain. Explain quatre-vingts. It's 480 is 420s. Blaze it. It's like it's based on composition, right? Like I get that you could also make it 24s. I'm just saying that at least it's easier to remember than just having to learn like a specific name for each tens column category. 80's whack in French. You're crazy. 80 is quatre-vingts. It makes perfect sense. It's 420s. I can't even, it's so self-evident, I'm mad I have to explain it once more. It insists upon itself. Most other languages just do 8/10s. Oh, I was speaking from the perspective of English, where we have to learn... Well, actually, now that I think about it, maybe actually English is pretty good. Because I was going to say, like, in English, we don't call it 8/10s, but then I was like, you know what? 80's kind of like, that's 8/10s. Okay, fair enough. You know what? I've decided to rescind my previous take. I've decided that that was based on ignorance and I didn't know what I was talking about. 24 is also quatre-vingts. You don't know what you're talking about. 24 is vant quatre. It's like you're not even paying attention in class. How is counting in Korean? I have no idea because I never remember like past 6. Il, I, sam, sa, u, yuk, chil, pal, something, gong, I think is 10. I don't know. I never had to order 9 of something, okay? But then also in Korean, you don't use the same counting system for every purpose. Like you, if you're ordering, like 2 in Korean is E. But if you were ordering like 2 beers, you would not say like, 실례합니다, 이 맥주, or 맥주 이 개 주세요. You would be like, people would be like, what are you talking about? You've got to learn a separate numbering system that I guess you only use for beers. You got to say, 실례합니다, 맥주 두 개, because it's dol, or dual, but then you drop the L for some reason. You got to go, 실례합니다, 맥주 두 개 주세요. So I mean, I didn't learn enough of the language in order to understand why some numbers are used for counting and some numbers are used for beers. When I speak Korean to Kate, she's like, even your Korean ordering is not good because because basically duge is like, give me 2 of that object. She's like, no, when you're ordering beer, you don't say duge, you say like du byun, I'll have 2 bottles, or like do something else, I'll have 2 glasses. And I was like, what the hell? It never stops, man. And then it really puts it in perspective because Korean is not really that hard to start to learn, and English is impossible. So I'm like, dude, this is crazy. I've been complaining about how hard, like, you know, Korean is to learn. Meanwhile, I like just accidentally learned how to speak a language that's much more stupidly designed. English is omega easy? What are you talking about? English makes no sense. English is so easy to learn. It's amazingly easy. I think it's only easy because I learned it when I was a little kid. No, honestly, English is pretty easy. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I'm monolingual. It's both the hardest and the easiest language I've ever learned in my life. As a second language, it's pretty easy. Well, like, is it... and I'm not trying to just play devil's advocate. Is it one of those things where, like, if you speak another language that English is related to, it's easy enough to learn? Because I did feel like it was kind of hard for the Korean students to understand English when I was teaching at ESL. But then there's also the idea that, like, in English we have like subject, verb, object order, right? So we do like, I eat an apple. And then in Korean and other languages, like it, they do subject, object, verb. So they do like, I, apple, eat. The easy part of English is that it's easy to immerse yourself in the language because it's the most common parlance on the internet. It's so funny that English is the lingua franca. France, what are you doing? It was called the lingua franca, and then you let it not be French? You got caught slacking? You got caught looting, son! France fumbled the bag? I can't even imagine, man. Holy cow. How on earth is the lingua franca not French? Like, French was the lingua franca when they named the lingua franca, and then lost the title immediately. That's crazy. That's what you get for having masculine and feminine words. Needlessly complicating things. Oh, sorry, when you're talking about a bathroom, it's la salle de bain. Are you stupid? Bathrooms are girls. Shit makes no sense at all. Like, and I'm being like non-ironic, like actually makes no sense. As somebody who's never learned how to speak the language, but is acting like I'm an authority on the subject. Hello? Any enemies in the chat right now? Probably after what I just said. Bathrooms are male in Spanish? Does nobody see how messed up this is? I'm so disappointed, by the way, that my tweet about, wait a minute, if you were 20 in the 70s, if you were in your 20s in the 70s, now you're in your 70s in the 20s, does anyone see what's going on here? That's become like Toy Story 1 at the box office. It's picking up like 1,000 likes on Twitter every single day and is well on its way to being my most popular tweet of all time. That's so sad because the tweet is literally just like a joke. Like the whole purpose of the tweet was just like, this is just stupid. And then somebody in the replies posted like a mathematical proof, like a QED style proof for like, well, this is actually not that special of a statement because as you can see, sigma sign 100 minus 50 times x, where x is the decade that you're living in. And I was like, holy cow. This is literally just something I thought of while I was like in my car pretending to be on my phone so I didn't have to talk to the other parents at daycare. Not because I dislike them, but because it's the same conversation every time. It's not their fault. Animal husbandry tweet was a banger. Thank you. Anyone that hasn't seen that yet, it did just come out. I don't want to spoil it. The tweet is, I want to smoke the shit they were on when they named it Animal Husbandry. Good tweet, good tweet. Dude, they love me. Listen to them, they love me. Holy, ooh, they love me. I don't get it. Well, it's just like, you know, it sounds like you're marrying a damn chicken or something like that. It's not that complicated, really. I mean, like, if they called it, like, animal wifery, you would be like, what? But then you flip the gender, and then nobody bats an eye, which is basically the central theme of what I've been saying for my whole life. Does nobody see how messed up this is? You like the tweet where my daughter said I look like a red, bald-headed Uakari? I swear to you, with God as my witness, the tweet is true. Now, it's not full... I maybe omitted that on every single page, she would say something like, looks like daddy, and she would always point to, like, the ugliest animal on the page. She would always point to, like a monkey with, like, an 18-inch long nose, and, like, a huge red ass and a head that looks like a toilet seat, and be like, looks like daddy. But, like, as soon as we flipped to the page that was, like, New World monkeys, she was just like, looks like daddy. And the thing I love about it so much is that the animal, the red bald-headed Uakari, obviously it's called bald-headed, but also, like, look at that guy. He looks like the, like, cursed Wojak. Like, he's got a skullet, and he looks, like, so scared, and his hair is so, like, wispy and stuff. Like, he's actually, like... He's so cursed to look at. It's so funny. Dude, and then it sent me down a rabbit hole, because then I was looking up, like, what the hell is a New World monkey versus an Old World monkey? Okay, so the Old World monkeys are the monkeys that live in, like, Africa and Asia. And then the New World monkeys are the ones that live in Central and South America. And I was like, I wonder what, it's kind of like an interesting idea because they have a shared ancestor. So like, how did they diverge? And the prevailing wisdom right now is that, at least in science, is that many, many millions of years ago, like 40 million years ago, a common ancestor of Old World and New World monkeys ventured from Africa to South America on a raft made of vegetation, which I understand is probably what they mean is not like picturing like an ape on like a woven boat that they made themselves, but that's what I pictured when I read it is like a damn gorilla surfing across the Atlantic Ocean. And then like you could go look it up yourself in the Wikipedia article, but the Wikipedia article is like, don't be impressed. The Atlantic Ocean wasn't as wide back then as it used to be. It's like, oh, the Atlantic Ocean was it was possibly up to 30% smaller. And I'm like, that's still 70% of the size of the Atlantic. That's pretty big, man. I don't know why Jimmy Wales is trying to pretend like it's not that impressive that a damn orangutan surfed across the Atlantic Ocean just to get to Brazil. Like, that's madness, man. That's crazy. What do they mean by raft of vegetation? I honestly am not qualified to know, okay? Like, I think maybe there was like a tree fell into the ocean and then they just like got on top of it and were like, we're gonna ride this shit till the damn end. Like, I don't... Also, like, you know, I have an undergraduate degree in biology, which is, as I always say, just enough to know how little I actually know. People graduate from high school, think they know everything. I spent 4 years in university to basically realize how dumb I am. I was racking my brain trying to figure out how scientists could prognosticate that they took a raft of vegetation. Like, okay, say that they crossed the ocean. I could understand that, but to know that they took a raft of vegetation, like, did you find like a driftwood surfboard or something like that? Like, otherwise, how else could you possibly say that with any degree of confidence? Like, it just doesn't seem... It doesn't seem like it's sensible. Animals are crazy, man. There's so many of them. Functionally speaking, there's only like 8, but like in terms of like the actual number of species, like holy cow, there's a lot of them. Name the 8 animals. Okay, we've been through this before. We don't have to go through this, but like there's more than 8. I mean, there's probably like 150 animals. But that does necessitate some compression of species and families and genuses and probably orders and probably domains that a lot of people are not comfortable making, but I'm very comfortable making. Like, all birds are one animal. It's bird. If you want to get technical, sure. You know, you could maybe be like, there's probably like 15 different kinds of birds. There's like a little bird you keep in your house. There's like the big tropical birds that go, hello, like talking birds. That would be another category for sure. Bro, I have a question. It's just an honest question. It shouldn't offend you that I ask it. This is how we all learn. In the story The Ugly Duckling, how the hell does a duckling grow into a swan? That doesn't make any sense to me. Because it wasn't a duckling? What the hell? It was always a swan? Why is the book called The Ugly Duckling then? That's the twist? Are you telling me that the mama swan fucked the duck? Is that what you're trying to say to me? Are you telling me it's a story about avian infidelity? Is that what you're trying to tell me? It is book for kids? Are you for real? It's been a while, okay? I read the book probably like 100 times. I was just like a little kid when I read it. It's like how, you know, the story I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. Like, it took me a long time to realize Mommy wasn't cheating on Daddy. In actuality, Daddy was dressed up as Santa Claus. And that's why they saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. Until I was like 20, I was like, why the hell's Mommy kissing Santa Claus? Like, that doesn't make any damn sense. While Daddy's asleep? You're 20 when you figured that out? Well, yeah, because like I stopped hearing the song when I was like 15. It's not like I put that shit on the aux cord every time it got passed to me. You hear it for like a little bit when you're like 7 years old and then you never hear it again. You believed in Santa that long? excuse me. First, Santa's real. Secondly, it didn't have to believe it that long. It's a song. Lots of songs are like stand-up comedy. Like the whole thing is, it's all just made up. You telling me that you really think the Eagles went to a hotel where they could check out at any time, but they could never leave? That's called kidnapping. It's a federal offense. Haven't really been playing many video games in my downtime. I've been playing golf, dude. That's so. I'm actually so jealous. I'm just telling myself, dude. It's like what my daughter's almost 2. It's like 16 years till I can start these golf lessons up. 16 years till well, I don't know. Maybe as a teenager she won't want anything to do with me. Maybe it's like 12 years until I can enter the true dad phase of being a golfer. But I'm gonna be so far behind like all the other dads. Thought golf was canceled. Lots of stuff gets like canceled online and then continues to be a part of society. Like I'm sure golf. I mean, there's problems with golf, right? It's environmentally destructive, but at least it's like fun. Driving a gas-powered car is also environmentally destructive, and that shit sucks. So like if you're asking me like would I rather have a truck or would I rather golf, I would definitely rather golf for sure. Are you allowed to play golf drunk? I don't know if you're allowed to play golf sober, my friend. I don't know if it's possible. It's definitely strongly encouraged. And I've only been golfing like 3 times in my entire life. I also think that the beers hit harder on the golf course. I think that's part of the appeal for casual golf. Is that because you're out in the sun, you're walking around, maybe your tee time was at like 10:30 a.m. or something like that. Like those beers are hitting twice as hard as your average like, after dinner beer. You're dehydrated, you're getting a sunburn. You're really getting your money's worth. Golf courses ruin the scenic views of all the mountain towns in Canada. Counterpoint, if you're on the golf course, you're probably like, whoa, what a sick mountain view. You're probably like, this golf course is beautiful. Holy cow. OMG, a hit golf course. People who golf hate the environment, though? I think that's a preconceived notion. I don't think Josh hates the environment. Josh golfs. Yeah, see? Josh says he doesn't hate the environment. Also, like, look, you should be good to the environment. You should recycle, you should compost, if the area that you live has the facilities for it. But I'm also done taking, like, maybe I'm not done. I'm temporarily over taking personal responsibility for the climate change because I used a Ziploc bag to put some, like, leftover ground beef in when, something like 70% of the world's emissions are emitted by, like, 15 companies in the Fortune 500. I'm not saying I'm just dumping like crude oil into freshwater lakes and streams and stuff like that, but when it's like, we're talking about golf, I'm like, I don't think it's golfers that are causing like ocean acidification to as rapid an extent as is happening right now. I think it's Shell, like predominantly like Schlumberger, and those execs do play golf though. Yeah, I mean like probably, I'm assuming. But, like, I don't think it's the golf that's I think it's more like the, like the fracking. I've never heard the EPA be like, we have to slow down our, maybe they've said it, but it's like we have to slow down our golf consumption. Beef, sure. They keep saying we gotta eat less hamburgers or something like that. That seems reasonable to me. I don't know. Look, again, it's hard to argue from the position that we should care less about the environment. If we were doing debates in public speaking class, that's not the position that I would like to draft to have a strong case. All I'm going to say is, I think it is a situation, hopefully you take care of the pounds, and then you hope like maybe some legislation will also take care of the thousands of pounds, and then the pennies will take care of themselves. When I'm speaking of pounds, I'm not talking about pounds sterling. I'm talking about like metric tons of carbon dioxide being emitted into the atmosphere. Plus, like maybe I'm not even sure if this is a controversial take. I'm also sick of, and maybe this is not fact-based. So I apologize in advance and reserve the right to say that this is actually just a joke. If people decide it's a bad take, I'm sick of 65-year-old people getting up on stage and being like, hey, young people, you can't do this shit anymore. I know you were golfing, motherfucker. You've been in Washington, D.C. for like 75 years. Now you're on stage and you're like, if you're under the age of 30, don't go to a golf course. You pulling the damn ladder up from underneath you. Okay, how about this? How about I don't golf? How about I do my responsibility for the environment and don't golf, and you cut me a fucking check for like $10,000 because you golf so much you fucked it up for the rest of us. How about you write me a damn check, Grandpa? I understand, like, you want me to do that shit for free, but I want my pound of flesh because it's not fair. You got something that I didn't get a chance to get. So give me $10,000. Who's he talking to? I don't know. Pick your least favorite senator. I'm sure we're going to get 3 or 4 different answers in the chat. I will also take $10,000 in exchange for not golfing. Look, it just seems fair to me. What if I golf and I collect $10,000? No, we'll like, you know, we'll do a greens test. +2, is it? Whoa, William Shakespeare, is that you? Dude, I golf like twice a week. Honestly, I'm jealous. That sounds like an idyllic life. I'm not, there's 0% me being a hater in that. I'm actually like, that sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like a nightmare life? What the hell are you talking? It sounds incredible. What's wrong with you? I'll be a hater? I play Magic the Gathering twice a week? See, that sounds like a damn nightmare. You're inside sitting on a folding chair in the stinkiest room of all time. Some dude is just executing like a custom-made loop on you over and over, and then I get 2 loyalty tokens, and then I use my 2 loyalty tokens to tap at instant speed on the artifact of Yon Titan, and then that allows me to get a draw. Every time I draw, I get another loyalty token on my Yon Titan Plains land card, and then I get it twice a week. At least golf, you're outside, you're in the sun, you're getting a little bit of physical exercise, maybe. Magic the Gathering, like my experience with Magic the Gathering is that playing it basically feels like losing a debate in a language that you don't speak. Sometimes you're like, I'm winning. But then most of the time, some dude who's been playing Magic since 1998 just like goes on. On turn 1, he drops like he gets 3 lands out, and then he drops like a 4/5 on you, and you're like, okay, I guess the part where I had fun is now over. Also, 1 in 3 times that you play the game, you just don't draw enough land to actually play. Or alternatively, you draw too much land and no actual cards. -2, just play drafts. Don't make me tell the story about how during Battle for Zendikar, I accidentally took the full art land out of the pack during the draft, because I know you take the land out of the pack, but then I didn't realize in Battle for Zendikar, you don't take the full art land out of the pack, because each one at the time could have been worth as much as $1, and then we got to the end of pack 1, and everybody started to go fucking Columbo. Wait a minute, I didn't get a card. What happened? Well, on turn 6, I got past this, and I noticed there were only 8 cards, but I just figured I wouldn't say anything, and I would just pass it along. Then people started getting, well, I took a common. I would have taken the full art if the full art was in there. It's $1! You guys have lost your damn mind! And then I never went back because the environment was so inhospitable. I'm not making fun of Magic the Gathering players. This is a real story that really happened to me. It's not like normally when I'm making fun of somebody where I, you know, make them up in my head and make them completely irredeemable and then go in. This is a story that really happened. And that, like, I could tell half the people in my draft pod were like, this guy definitely malevolently, maliciously pulled the full art so that he could resell it on eBay for $1. What the hell is a full art? Okay, so you know how most Magic the Gathering cards have like a little square piece of art on them and then flavor text beneath it? In Battle for Zendikar and Rise of the Eldrazi, instead of that, they had art that was the full portrait aspect ratio of the card. So people were like, holy cow, these full arts are going to be worth more than regular lands, which are mostly considered bulk, you know? Like, you could just take them for free when you go to any card store. But that led to people, that and the release of Expeditions led to people purchasing so many packs of Battle for Zendikar that the market for full art lands actually cratered, and they're not worth $1, they're worth like 10 cents each. But because Magic the Gathering is so fucking expensive, everybody that plays it for more than 6 months becomes exclusively like Magic finance pilled. And when they draft for like $15, you can't spend $15 on just like an enjoyable 6-hour night out where you get to play two rounds of Magic and then stand around for an hour and a half waiting for 2 people to go to turns. Instead, it has to be like, well, for $15, you get $18 technically, because you do have to pay a little bit to the card shop themselves, which is ridiculous. Because what, $3 for rent? What is this? 1906? You get 3 packs, which is roughly the equivalent of approximately $12. But then also, if you go 3-1 or better, you could win a prize, including a box topper, or even up to 5 packs themselves. So as long as I read, I've got to listen to 25 pre-release episodes of Limited Resources. I gotta get my draft order memorized in my head. As long as I go 2-2 or better, 30% of the time, 40% of the time I go 3-1, 10% of the time I go 4-0, then I'm making 4 cents an hour playing Magic the Gathering. It's just like so exhausting. You see, end up people thinking I committed like the fucking Thomas Crown affair, accidentally pulling the full art land out of the draft pack because you normally pull the land out of the draft pack, but because the lands are full art, now we gotta change the rules because everybody's gotta do maximum EV, otherwise they'd have to give up their damn house because it's the most expensive hobby on earth. He's off on a goddamn rant. I'm just sorry to say, like, you know, Magic is like an incredible game. It's so well designed. When you get a good game of Magic, it's like, I understand why people play it and nothing else for like 2 decades. But then like, it's not the whole community at all, but like a high enough percentage of the community is like extremely irritating that I never want to play it again. And also like, you gotta choose your hobbies in life. I'm not being judgmental, I swear. But like, at some point, you know, we were going to Friday Night Magic like 2 or 3 times a month. You gotta realize, like, this shit starts at 6, finishes at like 11. I always get my ass kicked. I gotta fight rush hour traffic to get there, just to be condescended to by like some dude who's been playing for 35 years. Why'd you drop your Eldrazi commander on turn 4 when instead you could have dropped Abbot of the First Flame and then you would have had initiative? I'm like, bro, I'm literally just here because like my wife is running an insane net deck and goes 3-1 every week. Can you just like can we have a conversation like normal human beings? Like, this is not how life is meant to be. I don't want to do a post-mortem. I mean, it's not necessarily like, you know, rude, but I don't want to do a post-mortem like every time I lose in Magic the Gathering, because I don't want to give you the illusion that I'm ever going to get good at this game. Like, I'm literally here for my spouse and that's it. Do you watch like any sports? do you play any video games? Oh, Magic the Gathering Online. Before Arena came out, you spent $100 a week in Magic the Gathering online drafts. It's like playing a damn Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Well, I guess we don't really have that much common ground to talk about. That's fine. Magic Online looks like PowerPoint in 1999. I'm not gonna say I never played Magic Online, because I was into Magic enough to be like, yeah, I'll deal with this fucking Microsoft Access application to play a game like this. But, I mean, it is funny how old it looks. And this is in like 2016. Also, and this is not necessarily even a Magic thing, but when I went to 2 GPs. I went to GP Vancouver and then we drove down for GP Portland. Not to play in the main event, just to, you know, have a weekend playing some Magic. And at both of them, I felt like there were like 175 backpack thefts. Like every 5 minutes on the announcements, it's like, please, if anybody's seen a black backpack with an AWS Amazon Web Services tag on it. It seems like backpacks are getting stolen like crazy at these things. And I also feel like, and maybe again, this is like my own personal bias, I don't feel like they're stealing the backpack to like, you know, hawk the goods. I feel like they're stealing, I feel like they're selling the backpack, or they're stealing the backpack to get the cards. I feel like they're stealing the backpack in order to be like, holy shit, there's a Chandra's Flame in here. There's a Mox Opal. This is gonna be so good in my Legacy deck. Holy shit, 3 full art lands. I knew this dude committed a heist. It's like opening packs, but all the cards are good. You know, I never thought about it that way. I mean, you still should not steal. It makes you like a piece of shit. But I guess I understand the appeal of getting stuff for free. That's a universally positive experience most of the time. I guess what I'm trying to say is when people commit theft, one person's sad and one person's happy. Seems fair to me. I'm joking. I'm joking. What's the rarest card you own? We do have a couple of expeditions. I know we have one of the expeditions that is not particularly good. Like I don't know. It's one of the ones you wouldn't even remember. I think we do have an expedition Polluted Delta, which is at least at the time was. I mean, it was standard playable, but also in like an archetype people actually use. I don't know if fetch lands are fetch lands are presently in standard, but I know they're modern playable at least. That's so fetch. Dude, you know what's interesting to think of? Actually, maybe I'm wrong about this. But I was gonna say, if you watch Mean Girls in 2004, and I told you that Amanda Seyfried would be the best actor out of all of the Mean Girls, you probably would have told me that I was crazy. But then I'm realizing, no, you'd probably be like, actually, it's Rachel McAdams. But Amanda Seyfried is second, I think. Like, Lacey Chabert hasn't done much that I've seen in a while. Lindsay Lohan, I don't even know what she's doing. She's hosting like reality shows in Qatar or something. And then Rachel McAdams, you know, she's doing stuff. She's been in a lot of movies. She's in Doctor Strange and at the Mouth of Madness. NL's radicalizing the chat. I'm not radicalizing the chat, at least it's not my intention. I'm merely giving my experience that I had at the hospitals. Okay? It is crazy though, like there are some things that you can get without having to like be a squeaky wheel. I've told you the story before when I told my doctor that we were going to Japan and I wanted like one Ambien that I could take on the flight. She was like, oh, she didn't even write me a prescription. She was like, the company that makes Ambien gave me like a bunch of free samples to give away. So here's like 20 Ambiens. I was like, what the hell? Just gave me the pill, like no questions asked. Then I wanted some damn antibiotics. Everybody in the emergency room is like, why do you want the antibiotics so bad? Why do you want the ciprofloxacin so bad, huh? It's just a little sus that you're so in here. You're like so focused on the antibiotics. Oh, well, I think I have a bacterial infection. Oh, really? Well, why don't you just wait 11 days because it's Canada Day / July 4th weekend, and we'll see about that 11 days later. So, you didn't have a bacterial infection, Mr. Confident. You had 2 bacterial infections at the same time. Why didn't you tell me how bad you felt? Dude, like you came in and you're like, oh, my stomach hurts and I have endless diarrhea and my legs getting a little stanky. You didn't tell me you felt that bad. Then I would have given you some antibiotics, dude. I no joke. And like I'm not mining this for sympathy. I'm just telling you where I'm at. Someone in chat like a week ago was like, honestly, you may actually want to just talk to somebody about this because it sounds like you're having a trauma response. Like it sounds like you're a little bit traumatized from the experience. And I was like, you know what? I think you might be right. I think that with no malice, no sarcasm or cynicism, I think I might have been a little traumatized. I'm not trying to say, oh, like, NL thinks he's traumatized because he had one little infection. I just mean, like, I think I might genuinely, I don't know. I don't know what trauma feels like. Certainly, I seem a little fixated on this issue. So that's probably like a symptom, if I had to guess. So not only, what you're saying is not only did I almost die, but I'm traumatized. Holy cow. That's like another week that I can mine this for sure. What do you think about BMW selling you a subscription for your car to have heated seats for $18 a month? I'm not a fan of it. Although now I understand why they're constantly cutting me off in traffic. They're like very angry. Look, I'm like, I don't want to say I'm capitalism pilled because I don't want to make enemies. But you know, I am interested in finance. I love that people will like say like, oh, competition is amazing. Like our financial system has led to the most incredible innovation in the world. And that's why like revenue and profits keep going up. And then it turns out, what was the innovative idea that has led to profit like skyrocketing? What if we stopped charging people once for things and just started charging them every month instead? What an incredibly innovative idea. What if instead of giving someone a product, we just turned every single product into a monthly subscription, and then people like, you know, over the course of 2 years, they pay more than they would have paid for the product to begin with. And then also they get lazy and forget to cancel their subscriptions because they already have 1,500 subscriptions coming out every month. So it's easy for some to slip through the cracks. And then like, it's just innovative, man. It's just these kind of financial innovations that allow earnings per share to hit like heretofore unforeseeable possible levels. You can get unlimited access for $415. Me crunching the numbers at the BMW dealership trying to figure out how many winter months I would need to experience in order to make the monthly subscription be cheaper than just buying it outright. And right now it's funny because it's just BMWs, but in like 5 years it'll be every car company on earth, and we'll be like, we shouldn't have laughed. we should have stopped. Anyway, whatever. I don't know. I don't own a BMW, so it's funny. Remember when phones had headphone ports? Look, I don't know. That's a controversial one. Because I loved my headphone port. I listened to wired headphones every night to go to bed. The way I understand it is that by removing the headphone port, they actually were able to make better battery life and have the same form factor. Which I actually am like, I've never had any complaints about my phone's battery except when I had a Pixel. I don't know if this is like a normal Pixel thing, but literally I would like use the phone like for 20 minutes a day and it would go from 100 to like 15% by the time it was dinner time. But copium levels off the charts. I mean, you can stick with your old phone with the headphone jack if you want. I'm just saying, like, at first I was like, this sucks. Then I got some Bluetooth earbuds and I was like, this is fine. Like, don't worry about it at all. The cops said they weren't like real headphones or whatever. Okay, it's the easiest run I've ever had in my entire life. It does suck that Bluetooth headphones they don't have great battery life though. But I've said this before, I used to have a brand of headphone that I bought because it was the cheapest brand of Bluetooth headphone on Amazon. They were called ENAC Fire. They would only work if both of the headphones were in, which is not good. So basically, in my opinion, you're doubling the speed at which you use the battery because you have to have both headphones in order for one of them to work, which doesn't even make any engineering sense to me. But now I have some Galaxy Buds, and you only have to have one Galaxy Bud in order. You need to have both in for noise canceling, but I don't want noise canceling. I actually use like the noise pass-through function, so I don't have to take my headphones out when I have to say, no, I don't need a bag at the grocery store. Galaxy Buds are all right. How's the mic quality? I've literally never taken a phone call with headphones in. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do. I know everybody else is very cool. When I go out for a walk with my daughter, everybody's talking on their Bluetooth headphones at all. And then I said, I'll bring the cups. And he said, oh, I've already brought the cups. Why don't you bring the sodas? And then I said, do we have a problem here? Like, I overhear this conversation 70 times a day when I go out for a walk. I know people have got a lot of stuff going on in their lives, I guess. But I've never taken a phone call on headphones. Also, I meant to talk about this with Sips yesterday, but Kate and I took our daughter to the park on Sunday, and we were laughing because we've been talking about parents who are too busy like looking at their phone to watch their kids at the park. So every time like our daughter's in the swing, we've got to hit the emergency stop function every 5 minutes because like some kid will just be like la 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 la, and then like wander right behind like the path of the swing, and then the parent is like not paying attention at all. But we had another situation where we were at the park where a swing set opened up and a mom who had been using her phone like the whole time, she went to put her kid in it, but she couldn't take her hand off the phone. So she was using one hand to put her 2-year-old into the swing and the other hand to continue her conversation. But she couldn't get her kid's feet to get through the whole of the swing. And then both of his shoes came off and he started to cry. And the mom was still just like talking on the phone. And I'm like, I get it. Like, it's not, from an individualist standpoint, it's not like it's the most fulfilling thing for an adult to do is to, like, you know, be at the park pushing the same swing for 20 minutes. But like, can you just get off your phone for like 5 seconds and spend some time with your child? I don't know, maybe everybody at the park just has like really important stuff going on at all times. But and maybe I just don't, even though like I'm at the park and I almost died last week or whatever, and I'm getting a lot of calls from like, you know, doctors and stuff like that. But I guess like you got some important stuff going on as well. Was she working? I don't know, because she was speaking Spanish. So I was like, I couldn't judge her for that. I couldn't be like, this call's not important. Instead, I was just like, I bet this call's not that important. It was like a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. I was like, I bet this is for pleasure, not for business. If someone brought you a wig, would you wear it on stream? No, I mean, fair question. Definitely not a weird question at all. Having worn like wigs before for Halloween costumes and stuff, this shit is like itchy as hell. I don't know if it's just like because, you know, you're wearing the cheapest wig of all time, but they are not comfortable. What about a good wig? No, probably not. I don't think I would. Honestly, I'm just okay being bald. It's not really that big of a deal. It gets to be less of a big deal the older you get too. It has its perks, man. Anyone that's actually bald will tell you, like, the worst part of being bald is actually going bald. Because then you have to look deep inside yourself and, you know, you got to go into that fucked up tree on Dagobah and, like, figure out who you are as a person. Like, how much of your identity is wrapped up in, like, these dead strands of protein coming out of the top of your head. But once you get through that, once you, like, strike down Darth Vader or whatever, being bald, you know, it has some, pardon me, it has some perks. Very low maintenance, in particular. Never having to get a haircut is nice. Or the period before you eventually get a haircut where you're like, damn, I should have gotten a haircut like last week when I had some time. There are some annoying things about it as well. I wouldn't deny that. Like, you definitely, like, your hair catches your sweat when you work out. So when you're bald, the sweat just rolls down the front of your head and, like, gets in your eyes and stuff. It's a little colder in the winter time for sure. It's in the summertime, you definitely got to make sure you put sunscreen on if you're not wearing a, well, probably if you are wearing a hat too, but like there's positives. Being bald is like, I don't know. I feel like most bald men are kind of okay with it. I would guess that most men who are bald would say, like, yeah, it's okay. Like, they would describe themselves as mildly pleased with the experience. Balding is like a disaster. That's where you gotta search deep within yourself. But being bald is not so bad. It's the process of getting to the baldness that, you know, you have to go through some ego death, I think. That's all I got. I don't know. I mean, it is one of those things. I'm sure, like, this one's for my bald people in the chat. The actual worst part about being bald is, especially when you're on the younger side, is just constantly being asked about what it's like to be bald when it's literally like fucking exactly the same, except you don't wash your hair in the shower. The most annoying part of being bald is people with hair being like, hey, would you use soap on your scalp or shampoo? Just over and over and over again. Like, it's literally all I wanted is to be treated like the same way you would treat someone with hair, but apparently society's not at that point yet. Tell us so we never ask you again. It's your first time on this website? I do that to bearded people? Honestly, you know what? I feel like you should. I feel like that's a little self-righteous. I'm here for it. Hey, next time somebody with hair and a beard says, "What's it like to be bald?" Bro, what's it like to have like a lot of hair on your chin? Whoa, do you use shampoo on your beard? Do you shine your beard in the thing that you put your ball in at the bowling alley? You shine your beard in there? Fucking asshole, idiot. Shine your beard in the Shine-O-Matic 5000. I don't want to be too rude about this, okay? 18-minute caves too. No, hold on. I'm going to be rude and I'm going to go off. I love when NL bullies a man he made up. Okay, so then I'm going to be rude, because if you love it, then I'm going to be rude. What I was going to say is sometimes I see a guy with a beard and I'm like, I just want you to know I can still see your chin. Like, I understand what you're trying to do there. As Jay so definitely said, beards are sick because you get to make your own jawline. I just want to... Look, because I'm making up a guy to be mad at. The guy I'm making up made a bald joke at my expense. And I say, hey, Thor Odinson, just so you know, I can still see your jawline under that thing. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I'm saying. I didn't want to be rude about it. I was bullied into doing it. You're not making that guy up. He's me. Your beard is not made of Kevlar. You can still be wounded, spiritually speaking. NL's brave to talk about jawlines? What the hell? Dude, I've got an adequate jawline. Come on. I'm not going to Amsterdam for that weird Dutch chinlet surgery. I'm not saying I got the most pronounced jawline of all time. I've never been self-conscious about my jawline, except when, like, I got overweight. Most of the time, I'm like, dude, I'm even approaching... I know this was like when Mouth posted the photo of us from high school. I said last known sighting of my chin dimple. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to brag, but when I had 2 bouts of food poisoning simultaneously and almost died, I was starting to see the chin dimple again. It's knocking at the door. I don't know if I can keep up that kind of weight loss regimen of losing like a troubling amount of weight in a very short period of time and having people comment things on my subreddit like, Jesus, you weren't lying, he looks like a ghost. I will say one of the coolest things about like almost dying is that I really thought that I was gonna have like a longer period. I love, and people kind of thought I was ragging on T1 in the Ludwig post where he showed the clip of what T1 was saying about his League of Legends play. Is definitely not the case. I've never talked to Tyler 1 in my entire life, but I've seen many clips and I think he's hilarious. But the clip where he's talking shit about Ludwig is so good. Like the first 10 seconds of it are like musical. I dare not repeat what he said, but it's actually like it's such a like a rage-induced, articulate stream of consciousness. It's just like, it's so good. It's beautiful. It's actually like, and I don't say this lightly, like it's beautiful prose. Does it make you look at wonder of the universe like the James Webb telescope? No, not at all. But it's beautiful in like a different way. You know, okay, I will find it. I'll at least play the audio for you. Hold on, Twitter's a little slow today. It must be on the Rogers network.
Ludwig's bum-headed bitch-ass, bum bitch, fuck you, Ludwig ass, playing support this stupid son of a bitch. I'm not flaming, I'm just saying.
Like that 10 seconds is it's unbelievable. There's just something about it, man. Like the cadence, the rapid fire, the way he's mixing up his speed, like it's elegant.
Ludwig's bum-headed bitch-ass, bum bitch, fuck you, Ludwig ass, playing support this stupid son of a bitch. I'm not flaming, I'm just saying.
It might be like the most beautiful 10 seconds of off-the-cuff audio I've ever heard. It's incredible. I'm just gonna say, this is gonna sound like I'm making this up. It's gonna sound like I'm making this up. I've seen the video where Ludwig gets a call from Mr. Beast, and then like a couple of hours later, Ludwig is on Mr. Beast's private jet being flown out to an event. If I was offered to take a private jet, I would not take it. And I know how that sounds, but like I just trust the safety standards on commercial airlines more than I trust the safety standards for chartered flights, because it's just, it just seems scary to me. Like, again, every time I say this, I'm like, careful, because then you might watch the news and be made a fool in a couple days. But like in North America, major commercial airline disasters are like exceptionally rare in the modern era. Planes still crash all the time, but they're all like privately owned and chartered flights where like they can afford to be a little bit lax on the safety standards, and all of a sudden we only got one pilot instead of two pilots, and then the pilot has a simultaneous Salmonella Campylobacter infection. Before you know it, you get rapid depressurization at cruising altitude, and you know, everybody gets hypoxic and the whole thing goes upside down. What is wrong with you? The culture came back. It started to grow two different kinds of bacteria simultaneously. I'm not flaming. I'm just saying. I would think twice before accepting a private jet flight. I'm not saying you're wrong to suggest it. Like, I'm sure, I mean, people take them every day and it's fine. I don't know if I would be comfortable with it. I'd be like, no, thanks for the offer, but instead, could you just pick up my ticket? I'll fly coach on, like, United. Thanks for the offer to be on your private plane, but instead, could you just buy me a coach ticket with no... But I want it... No, that's my one stipulation. No layovers. I'll fly coach, but I'm not doing a layover. You find me a direct flight, okay? I'll take the worst seat on an airplane where I don't have to do a layover over first class, but I gotta spend 45 minutes at MSP. What airport is MSP? You have to ask, is Minneapolis St. Paul. It is an intellectually dishonest take because MSP is a good airport. You're not wrong. MSP is actually a sick airport. It was so sick that when we got snowed into it, Delta said, sorry, we're out of hotel vouchers, but here's a food court voucher. We got a lot of great restaurants and you can just sleep in the food court. Really appreciate that, Delta. Really thankful. And thanks for the weather, Minnesota. I appreciate it. What we chose instead is to get an Uber out of the airport and then pay for a hotel out of pocket. Then we used the food court voucher at rock bottom for brunch the next day. Don't let them do that to you. You gotta fight for it. I'm sick of having to fight for stuff, man. Why don't you just give me the shit that you would give me if I fought for it without me having to fight for it? If you're like, oh, well, we have... Actually, if you're gonna want to talk to my manager, here's a hotel voucher. Well, why don't we just save ourselves the drama? You just give me the hotel voucher to begin with. Why do we have to do this? What is all this secret menu stuff? Can't you just give me the service that you get when you're angry? Can't you give a nice guy the thing that you would give to someone who's angry? You noob. I have an honest question about the Fifth Amendment. If you invoke your Fifth Amendment right, you're guilty, right? Sorry. But like, no, but like, yes, right? Because like, if you evoke your Fifth Amendment right, the right is to avoid self-incrimination. So the Fifth Amendment right is the right to not incriminate yourself. So if somebody asks you a question and you invoke the Fifth, the only reason you would invoke it is because telling the truth would incriminate you. So as a result, I'm not saying you shouldn't... Look, I'm being slandered here. People are saying, oh, this is a horrible take, pro-police take. It's not a pro-police take. I think it's kind of sick that you could be guilty of something and just be like, I choose not to answer because Alexander Hamilton said I don't have to. I think that kind of owns. All I'm also saying is that I would feel very self-conscious evoking my Fifth Amendment right, because I would be like, all these people know that I fucking did that shit. They'd be like, did you do that shit? And I'd be like, George Washington said I don't have to answer that question. And they would just write, he did that shit on big yellow paper with blue lines on it. I've never been pulled over by the police, but I have spent a lot of time wondering how I would answer the question, do you know how fast you were going? I don't really speed. I mean, I speed like a normal person. You know, on the highway, I'll do like 10 over. But like, what's the right answer to that question? Because if you know how fast you were going, then you knew you were speeding. If you don't know how fast you were going, then you're not an aware driver, which is kind of like, it seems like the kind of question, there should be like another amendment that you don't have to answer that question, because that question's self-incriminating to begin with. Either of the answers, yes or no, both incriminate you. Just say, yes, I was going the speed limit. But then you're gonna have to fight about it. That sounds like, I'm not like a confrontational guy. I don't want to, the people are not gonna like this. I think I would get a ticket if I got pulled over and I was speeding. Because I really, I mean, I tell the truth. I know how that sounds. But like, it's the honest to goodness truth. That if a cop said I was going, like, oh, do you know how fast you were going? I would be like, yes, I was going 10 over, like a normal person. You're gonna tell me you don't go 10 over? Look around me, everybody's going 10 over right now. I was going 10 over. You saw it, you got the radar gun. I'm sure it's calibrated properly. You know I was going 10 over. Why are we doing this whole song and dance where you're gonna try to get me to dig a big hole of lies and then bury myself in it? I was going 10 over like everybody else on the damn road. Just say you don't recall. He'll ask me a bunch of questions. I'll say I don't recall to all of them. Then he'll be like, are you okay? And I'll say, no, officer. I had a simultaneous salmonella and campylobacter infection, which I've only recently finished my course of ciprofloxacin for. And then he's gonna, he walked right into my verbal trap and got blown out. He would be like, sorry, sir. You can go. Holy cow. Sir, I'm gonna give myself a ticket. Yeah. For not believing you. For not recognizing that you're a hero. Does Canada have the equivalent of sovereign citizens? I did see a post. I don't know if it was from Canada. But the post was like, well, I'll just tell you. It was on ShitMomGroupsSay. And somebody was like, I want to send my daughter to school, but they want her to get vaccinated. Is there anything I can do? And then somebody replied and said, let me tell you right now, people in power don't want you to know, but you cannot be governed by any law that you didn't vote on directly. And I was like, I don't think that's true, personally. You might not like that you didn't get to weigh in on it, but I'm pretty sure there's like no legal recourse for like, well, actually, they didn't ask me how I thought about this in 1861, so I am ungovernable. And there's also, I haven't gone too deep down the sovereign citizen rabbit hole, but I do know that because I was looking at why Wesley Snipes went to prison for tax evasion. And apparently he used an argument that a lot of people use, which is like, A, false, but B, the argument itself is that like the government forced your parents to give you a name. You never gave yourself a name. So your name that you give yourself is different than the name that the government has for you. As a result, you don't have to pay tax. Also, the government has no ability to collect tax as a fiat currency. They can only collect tax in like silver and gold bullion or something like that. Like, there's a few things that like a normal person would read that on the internet and be like, that doesn't sound like that makes any fucking sense. But like, I guess if you really don't want to pay taxes, you're like, okay, yeah, probably that was written in the old sailor's code, and they just never thought about like updating it until today. So I'm gonna represent myself as a lawyer and the client, and then I'm just gonna tell the judge that we're not at sea right now, and as a result I don't have to pay taxes. Let me look it up, okay? Reasons for not paying tax. No, I'm not really looking for that. Not really looking. I didn't commit the search, okay? It's gonna put you on a list. You know what? I've decided not to go for that one. I've decided to not commit my search on that one. There was like a month where I got 30 texts from a Halifax real estate agent where they were like, "Hey Madison, just wondering if after our meeting yesterday you gave any more thought to selling your house in Halifax." And then I like didn't reply. And then this dude fucking went Jon Favreau in Swingers on my ass. He sent me like 20 different texts in a row. And then was like, "Hey, Madison, just wondering if I dropped the ball. I haven't heard back from you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's because I don't know who the fuck you are. I'm never going to reply to you. I'm not going to reply to you and say this isn't Madison. I'm just going to like, you know, I'm going to leave you hanging." It's not what one person gives you a fake number. Now I got to become their secretary. I don't think so. I'm just going to live my life. Should have texted, do it, listed. Listed on MLS.ca tonight. Your Honor, in my defense, it was a bit. No, there's another lady that's been going around Vancouver giving like all sorts of doctors my number, thinking that it's hers, and I get these like ridiculous phone calls that are like, "Hey, we're calling for like obvious old lady name. Just so you know, like your urgent sigmoidoscopy is scheduled for like this day." And then like I got pissed off because like I thought to myself, I have a responsibility. We have to wait for this to go down. I have a responsibility to call back to the doctor's clinic and be like, "Hey, just so you guys know, you have the wrong number." And then one time I did call the doctor's clinic, and I was like, "Hey, you guys keep calling my number thinking that it's someone else, so I think she gave you the wrong number." And then they were like, "Okay, what's her name?" And I was like, "I don't remember. I'd have to go to my voicemail to oh my god. I'd have to go to my voicemail to check." And they said, "Okay, that's fine. Just call us back." And I was like, "Can't you just like cross-reference it in the database with your number?" Like, now all of a sudden I gotta spend half of my afternoon trying to like sort out this stuff. They can't because of HIPAA, but I can give it to them and it's not a HIPAA violation? That doesn't make any sense to me. And for that reason, I'm out. It's only 5 minutes. Okay, come fucking scrub my toilet. That's only 2 minutes. Oh, you don't want to do it? Lazy. Come on, it's just 2 minutes of your time. Bonchon tier list? Dude, okay. Kimchi is near the top of the list for bonchon, which are the Korean side dishes you get with a Korean meal. Kimchi's way up there. Cold soy sauce potato. Gamja cholim is way up there. Getnit cholim, which is like a marinated perilla leaf, is up there. I like most of the radish side dishes. Like I love gattugi. I'll tell you, to be honest, the only bonchon that I don't really like sometimes you'll just get some fucked up shit like a potato salad or something, and I'm like, that's not why I'm here. You don't know why I'm here, Travis Scott. I'm not a huge fan of gongnamul, which is like the marinated bean sprouts. I'm just not much of a sprout guy, I guess, personally. I'm basically, I mean, broadly speaking, I would say my personal preference, I'm like into the spicy ones and not that into the non-spicy ones, except the potato is incredible. I'll do the cucumber kimchi might be number one. I'm on the damn treadmill and I didn't put the heart sticker on. No, I knew it, dude, that was good though. We're getting so much better at hexaring. I got too precious about my positioning and I said I don't want to be here anymore. 42 remain. Douglas Adams, you've done it again. So true, amazing joke. So long and thanks for all the fish. More like so true, more like so long. And thanks for all the fish. Sorry, my body rejected the joke as I tried to get it out. It's crazy how Douglas Adams was such a big fan of the Joker that he named his main character Arthur Dent as like a reference to the cursed clown. I had no idea he was so bat-pilled. That's Two-Face? Excuse me, Two-Face is Harvey Dent? The Joker is Arthur Dent. No relation. You guys brothers? No. Yes! Oh. Dude, Two-Face and the Joker, A Night at the Roxbury remake, that could go off. Joaquin Phoenix, Aaron Eckhart, Night at the Roxbury, but it's the Joker and Two-Face as Doug Butabi and Steve Butabi. Oh, man. And then he was like, Rachel! Oh, man. Oh. I mean, this is like a stolen Twitter joke from like a long time ago. People always are like, what would you do in a zombie apocalypse? Probably die. Probably just, no, I wouldn't be the guy with the eye patch who's like, finally my time has come. I think I would be like, honestly, this next 100 years look pretty shitty. I'm out this bitch. Later, like enjoy the next 2 decades of constant fear and starvation and like existential threats. Not for me, thanks. I'd become a zombie. I don't know, that kind of, being a zombie seems kind of shitty too. Would you hide your zombie bite? Yeah, probably. I don't know, I think it depends how much I like the group that I was in. Maybe I'm in a group with a bunch of people who are like really kind of just rude to me. Then I would hide that shit for sure. And then try to like, is there a way to accelerate the turn so when everybody goes to sleep, I could just start drinking like some milk of magnesia and bring it on a little faster or something like that? If I liked them, I would find like somebody that I trusted to do the job, and I would be like, hey dude, check it out. And then there would be like, it'd be like a dripping like pink wound, and they'd be like, oh! And I'd be like, you got it. I'm sorry that I came to you, but I came to you because you're the only person I trust to do this. But if it was like someone that, if I was in a group of people who were like not very nice, I'd probably hide that shit for sure. Why not? Because I'm basically, as soon as you get bitten, like you're on Team Zombie, right? Of course I'm not gonna inhibit the company that I'm about to be working for. Might as well try to score an early dub, maybe get in good with the zombie CEO or something. Go back to the damn horde and be like, hey boss, I converted 7 more on my way up. They'll be like, guess what? Seems like the kind of straight shooter who's got middle management written all over him. Yeah, I don't want to be one of the zombies that has to like go up against the fence and be like, until the fence breaks down. I want to be the zombie that's like, what's that? Attack the fence? Okay, you guys, we just got word from on high. We gotta go attack that fence. You guys go ahead. I don't want to be the guy calling the shots either. I just want to be kind of like, I want to be the guy relaying the information. I want to be just like a link in the chain. I don't want to be at either terminal, quite frankly. At least I talk about the fucking Hulu original show, The Bear, for like the 17th show in a row. But every stream, there's like 18 more people that come into chat, just endlessly cyberbully me into watching The Bear, making me substantially less likely to ever watch The Bear, even though every time I hear about it outside of the context of my own stream, people say things like, it's one of the best shows I've watched in the last 5 years. Watch The Bear? Look, you think I don't see every message you leave in chat? You've left me 17 messages today about The Bear. I get you're trying to become a chat celebrity, the guy who always asks about The Bear. But then out of nowhere, you said, hey NL, what do you think about UBC? And I'm just want to caution you, all of these messages accrue in my head. I've got an endless, I've got remote uploads to an off-site facility. There's infinite data in here for storage. I feel like I know too much about you now. Either you go to the University of British Columbia, or you're perhaps interested in going to the University of British Columbia. I'm building like a Minority Report profile of you, and all you need to find anybody is like 5 data points, and then I'm like, I know your childhood, I know where you are as an adult, and I know how your life is going to end up in 40 years. If you can get 5 data points, you can chart someone's entire life day by day. I'm 2/5 of the way there, and I don't know if you would like what I'm seeing, quite frankly, but you still got 3 data points with which to change it. Ignore the UBC one. That was a shitty joke. Okay, never mind. Okay, I've got 1 data point. I'm popping that one off the stack. You've got 4 data points left. I meant UCB. You meant the Upright Citizens Brigade? That's actually way more in keeping with the first data point about just constantly talking about The Bear. Because as soon as I saw you talking about UBC, I'm like, I don't know if this guy is UBC material. That's a really good school. He just keeps endlessly badgering me about The Bear on Hulu. That's a good question, Toasty. What common health tip do you disagree with the most? Well, I don't know how common this is, actually. I might be overrepresenting it. And I've said this before, but I do get really annoyed whenever you talk about eating fruit and people tell you how much sugar is in fruit. I'm like, I get it. But like, I feel like it's a situation where you should pick your battles. Like, rather than talking about how bad for you fruit is, you recognize that it's actually like probably in like the top 5 percentile of foods that are actually good for you. Like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I try not to eat like a banana before bed because there's just so much sugar in fruit. Again, this is maybe not a nutritionally sensible take, but it's a banana. Like it's a banana. I don't know if I need to reiterate it one more time, but maybe again I'm making up a person in my head just to create an easy straw man to argue against. But I feel like people will always be like, you know, oh, I try not to eat so much fruit because there's so much sugar, and I'm like, you were posting about having like 11 beers on a Wednesday last week. How many apples do you have to eat after dinner time in order to compensate for one day where you had like 11 ales? It's got to be like 200 apples. Made up guy, but +2, so true. Why is this game called Zombs? When's the last time you saw a damn zombie? I can't really argue with that, man. That's a good argument. I mean, why the hell is the game called Fortnite, man? Maybe because the average player is 2 weeks old? Have you heard the new Kendrick yet? I have not. I don't think I will for probably like 10 years. It's not a knock. I don't know. Why? I don't know. I just got other stuff going on. And I feel like if you, like, eventually, if you accept one of the takes about, like, you absolutely have to consume this piece of media that came out, then you open yourself up to having to do all of them. Like watching The Bear, for example. I'm pissed off. About what? About what about? Oh, probably because my chat bat-chested something. They do be doing that a lot. I know what tilts Jay in the chat for sure. The Bear was good though. I fully believe that The Bear is an amazing television show. There's also like 30 other amazing television shows I'm actively not watching at the present moment. I promise you, there was a period of time where there was almost no TV that was good. And if a good show came out, everybody would watch it because it was the only good thing on the air. This period was called the 90s and the show was Seinfeld. Now we have like the exact opposite. Every show that comes out is the best television program of all time. And we have the opposite problem. We're spoiled for choice. And now we're realizing that like good TV is great. But you know what I kind of miss? Is everybody in America watching the same TV shows and then being able to have a conversation about it right after it airs. I'm dead. Okay, honestly, it's just like, can I be honest with you? It's just a much better player. It's just I got really outskilled, to be honest with you. Kind of crushed me. You considered using not the mouse wheel to change weapons? Here's the thing. There was actually an article in PC Gamer, the digital magazine, this weekend that I really resonated with. Basically, the gist of the article is getting good at games fucking sucks. It was a dude who was like, I love Hunt Showdown. I had a lot of fun with it. But then I got too good and I started playing with people who are all too good. And it narrowed the meta so everybody's using the same guns and the same strategies. And now I'm not having any fun with this game that I like anymore. And I was like, finally, other people are cluing into this thing. Where people in chat are like, you gotta constantly, oh, well, here's some tips to get better. I don't want to fucking get better. That sounds shitty. Because then you play better people and you have less fun. What's your reward for getting better? If you could be like the best player in the world in like 1 of 6 games, you can make a living. If you're the best player in the world at like the 7th game, okay, well, you know, have a good day at work, honey. You beat your friends? Yeah, until your friends get better. And then now all of a sudden you're spending 8 hours on the damn subreddit every single night in order to try to keep up. You're just wasting more time to end up in the exact same position. Anyway, my wife is live. I'm going to send you over there. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow.